Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining us today for our weekly webinar at Railbookers. Today, focusing on the top 5 iconic European rail journeys. My name's Chris David. I'm the Vice President of Sales for Railbookers in Canada. My location is Toronto. That's where I'm coming to you all from today, guest hosting the presentation. And look forward to a whistle-stop tour by rail, exploring some of these wonderful destinations across Europe and some of the great iconic train travel experiences throughout Europe. To kick things off today, let's take a quick look at what we're going to be covering in today's presentation. First off, a few of those hints and tips about traveling by rail and things to know about the experience traveling on board the train, the various classes of service. The main focus today will be on the destinations, however, and the itineraries that we're featuring, these 5 great, unique, iconic rail trips throughout Europe on the Orient Express and the Royal Scotsman, the Glacier Express, and some of the other famous trains throughout Europe. Excuse me, everybody, that seems to be my pooch barking at somebody outside. Bear with me a second. I'm also going to be going briefly today over what the rail operators, the European train companies, are doing to make sure that it's safe to travel by train and to provide peace of mind for travelers who are concerned about what measures are being taken from a health and safety point of view to ensure social distancing and the other aspects of concern for people considering travel in a post-COVID environment. I'd like to give you a quick introduction to our company. We're called the Yankee Leisure Group, and we're a travel tour operator that specializes in rail travel around the world. We have within our company 2 different brands. Firstly, Amtrak Vacations. In the US, we're the official tour operator for Amtrak, and so we have the exclusive agreement as Amtrak's partner to operate all of the leisure trips, the vacation packages into the US national parks, and the other highlight tourism destinations throughout the United States. Amtrak, as you may know, has over 500 stations, and it has rail routes going through 46 of the 48 lower US states. And so one of the unique benefits with Amtrak Vacations is that you can commence your trip from your home city, wherever you may live. We can customize your vacation so that you can start close to home to access any of these trips going to the national parks and the other destinations around the country. Railbookers is our other brand, and that covers destinations around the world other than the US. So Europe, Canada, Alaska, and also specialty trains and luxury trains around the world, like the Golden Eagle Trans-Siberian that goes across Russia, the Blue Train in South Africa, the Maharajas Express in India, the GAN and Indian Pacific luxury trains that go across Australia. So really, anywhere that you may have the intention to travel independently using rail as your means of transportation, we will be able to help you out with a package and itinerary that fits the bill. We've recently introduced 3 new e-brochures for Railbookers. This year, 2021, we took the decision not to go with paper brochures. We have put our brochures into electronic format, which you can find easily accessible via our website. And they're under 3 different categories: cruise extensions, luxury rail journeys, and then there's the comprehensive collection of worldwide train vacations in one catalog as well. We have the unique ability at Railbookers to enable you to book your vacation traveling independently throughout Europe or elsewhere around the world 2 years in advance of travel. This is actually a huge advantage because with train travel, normally the rail operators, the train companies, only issue the tickets 2 or 3 months prior to departure. Through our partnerships with them and the unique arrangement we have with them, we're able to access that inventory and book your train segments and lock in current pricing for trips right into the first half of 2023. We've recently introduced a new website, which is a fantastic resource for you in planning independent travel in Europe. There's a huge selection and variety of itineraries going across Europe, as well as other destinations around the world. You can search by destination. You can also search by vacation type and train type. If you're interested, for example, in a cruise extension, an independent trip connecting with one of the river ports in Europe, like Basel perhaps, or Budapest, you can search under cruise extensions, and there's a huge selection of over 70 different itineraries, 4, 5, and 6 nights long, that are just perfect to be combined with river cruises. So do check out the website. Great search features and a great resource for planning your independent travel. As I mentioned, we partner directly with the rail operators. So whether it's Trenitalia in Italy or Deutsche Bahn, Renfe, Spain's national rail operator, SNCF, the train company in France, we partner directly with them. And because of that, we have insider access. When your travel agent or you call Railbookers to plan your travel, we will be able to, through our systems, access all of the rail segments. There are over 3,000 train routes across Europe, 30,000 train stations. We'll help you figure out the route that works best for you and book it all 2 years in advance. This is one of the reasons that people have found it so convenient over the years, using Railbookers to plan and arrange their independent travel through Europe. Traveling by train in Europe, such a convenient, easy, and fast way to get between the various countries and regions. In Europe, rail travel is on high-speed networks. The trains travel, in some cases, in excess of 300 kilometers an hour, so you can cover great distances very quickly. And you're going through the countryside, so you're seeing the landscape as you go. And with Railbookers, we've got a huge variety and selection of different kinds of experiences, be it luxury trains, iconic sightseeing trains in destinations like Switzerland and Norway, and you can customize each of the itineraries to meet your specific needs. You can add additional nights in any of the destinations, add additional destinations. So really, when it comes to rail travel, we're the experts, and what's complex for others is easy for us. It's one call, either your travel agent on your behalf, or you're welcome to work with us directly. One call, we'll be able to arrange your rail itinerary, your hotels, and your sightseeing. With Railbookers, customizing is really the name of the game. Every component of the trip can be modified to meet your specific requirements. So when you see those packages on the website, bear in mind that you can tweak or amend them. You can add extra nights, you can add extra destinations, you can add extra rail segments, upgrade the trip in terms of the accommodation on board the train from economy to perhaps first or business class. You can add any kind of sightseeing experiences or excursions that you may be interested in, either in the destination city or other destinations in the surrounding countryside. And when it comes to hotels, we enable you to choose on every night of your journey between 3, 4, and 5-star hotel options. So you can really customize and personalize that trip to meet your budget, your travel style, and if you're celebrating a special occasion, perhaps you have that intention. If you're going to be celebrating an anniversary or birthday while you're traveling, on that night you'd want to upgrade to a 5-star, and we can do that city by city, choosing the hotel accommodation that works best. If you're concerned about your options in the event of having to cancel or reschedule your trip at Railbookers, you can do so 5 days prior to your departure. You would then receive a future travel credit for any funds on file towards your booking that's valid for 2 years and can be put towards any product in any destination. So if, for example, you had originally booked a European trip and you decide you no longer wish to travel to Europe, whatever monies were on file towards your booking, you could use that towards a number of separate rail bookings on Amtrak. So enormous flexibility, and that credit is transferable. If you decide that you no longer wish to travel, you can transfer it to another person. We have a great promo going at the moment which enables you to get up to $500 per booking towards an upgrade of your choice. You, again, with the ability to customize on Railbookers, you could use that $500 to add perhaps a day excursion from Munich out to Neuschwanstein Castle. You can upgrade your hotel accommodation from a king room to a suite. You can upgrade your hotel from a 4 to a 5 star. You can upgrade your rail accommodation from economy to first class. So a great opportunity to add a little bit of extra luxury and make the trip that much more memorable on us with that $500 per booking with the Pick Your Perk promotion. Here we have the European rail network map. As I mentioned, there's over 30,000 train stations throughout Europe. It can be very intimidating working with rail, putting your itinerary together. And this is where we come in at Railbookers. We're the experts. This is our wheelhouse, our unique area of specialty, working with all of our partners, the different rail operators throughout Europe, to advise you on the best route. Book it all 2 years in advance. You may be interested in knowing what the train companies are doing to cater to your peace of mind, to make sure that it's safe to travel by rail, given that there are still concerns and in many cases still health and safety requirements in place related to COVID and COVID safety. In many cases, at the moment, masks are still required for passengers and staff on board. This does differ somewhat by destination and by specific rail operator, but that would normally be the case in the standard open seating areas of the train. Meal service will have been suspended in some cases, curtailed in many cases for COVID safety reasons. Seating capacity on the trains has gone to 50%, so every other seat is blocked, making sure that there's plenty of space for the social distancing guidelines to be maintained. The trains have been sanitized on an ongoing basis throughout the day, regardless of where you're traveling, which destination. And everything's gone touchless and contactless. So no paper is changing hands on board trains in terms of tickets and cash. Infrared scanners and touchless processes have been adopted for payment and ticket control. With that, we've covered a lot of the preliminaries, the safety features, the aspects of Railbookers that allows you to customize. Let's kind of switch gears here and take a deep dive and start our whistle-stop tour around Europe, looking at some of these iconic rail journeys, starting with the Royal Scotsman, which is magnificent in every way. This is a luxury 5-star train traveling through the Scottish Highlands. You can think of it as your own 5-star hotel on wheels, taking you through all of the highlights of the Highlands, the great national parks and scenic areas and cities and towns and castles to explore throughout the Highlands, with lots of great off-train experiences included along the way, the opportunity to play 9 holes of golf, visiting whiskey distilleries, and all kinds of unique Scottish experiences. Your trip will start in London, where you have a few nights with hotel accommodation and the opportunity to see the local sites with an included city pass that will give you free admission to the Tower of London, the London Eye, and other attractions. In Edinburgh as well, you'll have several nights accommodation. You can upgrade your stay, by the way, in Edinburgh to the Waldorf Astoria Caledonian, which is right in the shadow of Edinburgh Castle, magnificent 5-star hotel. And again, we give you that ability to choose what style and level of property you want to stay at. The Royal Scotsman is operated by the famous luxury hotel company Belmond, which also, by the way, owns and operates the Orient Express, the famous Venice Simple and Orient Express, which we'll be looking at in just a moment. It's a wonderful train, 5-star luxury all the way. You have these beautiful public areas, dining and lounge cars on board. The cuisine is known to be of the highest standard, with the onboard chefs using the freshest locally sourced ingredients, like, of course, salmon as you're traveling through Scotland. Cabin accommodations can be selected on the Royal Scotsman between double, where you have a double bed, a single cabin if you're traveling solo, with your one single lie flat bed. Notice none of these beds are configured in a bunk bed format, as you often find with rail travel. They're all at the ground level, whether it's a double, a single, or a twin. If you're traveling with a friend or a companion that you're not going to be sharing the bed, you can go for a twin. All the staterooms are beautifully appointed with luxurious furnishings, power outlets, Wi-Fi, beautifully appointed washrooms, so it's fully en suite throughout. And the lounge car, this will be the social hub of the train, and the place to hang out, to meet other travelers on board and see the beautiful scenery as you're traveling through Scotland. Bear in mind, the Royal Scotsman is all-inclusive, so all of your alcoholic beverages, aside from all of those sumptuous, magnificent meals, the onboard entertainment by storytellers and musicians, the off-train experiences, all of this is included in the fare. Not least, the bar on the Royal Scotsman famously keeps in stock 50 different varieties of single malt Scotch. So if there are any Scotch lovers out there in the audience, this is the train for you. Moving a little bit south in Europe over to Switzerland, probably the premier rail travel destination in Europe, maybe all the world, a magnificent network of routes traversing the Swiss Alps, connecting all the great cities and towns, ski resorts throughout Switzerland. We have several different itineraries ranging from 5 days right up to your 15-day grand tour of Switzerland, which is your full Monty, taking in all of these great trains, the Gotthard Express, the Glacier and Bernina Express, and overnight stays in the premier Swiss destinations of St. Moritz and Zermatt, Lugano, Lucerne, Zurich, and more. Zurich is the capital of Switzerland, the financial center of Switzerland, but when you think financial center, you think tall buildings and skyscrapers and a gray skyline. Zurich couldn't be further from that, a beautiful historic town on a lake surrounded by mountains. You'll be staying overnight in Interlaken on the itinerary, which is a beautiful Swiss village located, as the name suggests, between two lakes, and happens to be the jumping off point for the Jungfrau Railway. This is a cog train that takes you up to the top of Europe, the highest rail station in all of Europe, at over 11,000 feet in altitude. Up there, you can enjoy a Swiss fondue sitting on a deck overlooking the glacier. This is winter, but in summertime, the glacier is permanently there. You're at such a high altitude, but the mountains are green. You can see all the way to the Black Forests of Germany from up there. Absolutely magnificent. You'll have an overnight stay in Lausanne, which is the perfect opportunity to upgrade to the Beau Rivage Palace Hotel, which is a magnificent 5-star resort on the shores of Lake Geneva. You'll have an overnight stay in Zermatt, a beautiful Swiss village in the shadow of the Matterhorn. There's a day excursion to the top of the Gornergrat Mountain, one of the iconic Swiss mountains. The Swiss have pioneered cog rail. This is a type of train that is driven up at a very steep gradient so that you can ascend to the peak, to the summit of these amazing mountains. And the Gornergrat happens to be right next door to the Matterhorn. So you have these beautiful views of the Matterhorn throughout that excursion. The Glacier Express is Switzerland's famous, iconic sightseeing train that travels 8 hours through the Swiss Alps between Zermatt and St. Moritz. You can upgrade on board the Glacier Express to excellence class, where you'll have your own massive panoramic window, an included 5-course gourmet meal accompanied by wine, concierge service throughout, the bar at the back of the train where you're included, alcoholic beverages are provided. So really a great experience, taking an already bucket list unique sightseeing train and elevating to that next level by going in excellence class. If you stay in standard class, the Glacier Express is still a fantastic experience. The seats are on a 2x2 configuration, so 2 seats either side of the aisle, as opposed to the larger seats where everyone has their own window in excellence class. Meal is not included, but you can purchase spectacular cuisine on board in standard class. And of course, the train is configured with massive windows to really showcase the main attraction, which is the beautiful views and scenery as you're traveling through the Swiss Alps. The Glacier Express travels from Zermatt to St. Moritz, the most fashionable and popular ski resort in all of Europe, known for winter sports, but a wonderful destination in all seasons. And from St. Moritz, you'll travel on another iconic Swiss train, the Bernina Express, that goes south into Italy, over to the town of Tirano, just over the Swiss-Italian border. Again, wonderful experience on the Bernina Express with those huge dome panoramic windows and fabulous service on board. And you'll have an overnight stay in Lugano. Actually, Bernina Express goes to Tirano, the town on the Italian border. You'll then take a coach over to Lugano, which has a wonderful combination of Italian and Swiss culture, cuisine, and language. A fabulous place to explore. And from Lugano, you'll be heading back north into Switzerland on the Gotthard Express train. An overnight stay in Lucerne, where you'll have a sightseeing pass to take in all of the highlight attractions. You'll also be able to, you'll have free time to explore the city, strolling across the world's oldest wooden bridge, the 600-year-old Chapel Bridge in Lucerne. And there's a day excursion from Lucerne to the top of Mount Pilatus, which is the mountain overlooking the town, and happens to be home to the steepest train journey in the world. The Mount Pilatus cog train travels at gradients of up to 47 degrees. At the top of Mount Pilatus, there's a beautiful hotel, restaurant, and visitor center, and you can explore the summit on lovely walking and hiking trails. You can even upgrade your stay by staying overnight at the summit of Mount Pilatus in the Hotel Kulm, historic hotel on the summit, so that you have the entire mountain to yourself when all the day visitors descend on the gondola. If you're not staying at the summit, you'd go down back to Lucerne on the gondola at the end of that wonderful excursion. The next of the iconic journeys I want to tell you about today is the Orient Express. This is a train that you have most likely heard about, absolute icon and a symbol of luxury travel dating back to the 1920s and 30s. We have several itineraries at Railbookers featuring the Orient Express, very often combined with other rail experiences, in this case, the Glacier and Bernina Express. So after traveling in 5-star luxury across Europe from London to Venice, you then go up to northern Italy and into Switzerland. So you get that combination of two very different but both spectacular rail experiences, the Orient Express and the Swiss iconic sightseeing trains. Your journey will start in London, where you have a night of hotel accommodation to get ready for your grand journey, and then you're boarding the Orient Express. Actually, in London, you board a sister train of the Orient Express, also operated by Belmont, called the British Pullman, which will take you over to the coast. You'll then cross over the English Channel in a motor coach that goes on the train under the channel. And when you arrive in France, that's where you're going to be boarding the Orient Express. British Pullman, by the way, is every bit as luxurious and the same 5-star standard as the Orient Express. This train entered service in the 1920s, and as such, it embodies the style, the decor, the glamour and sophistication of that Art Deco era. The staterooms are decorated with polished cherry wood and sumptuous upholstery. 3 beautiful grand suites on board if you really want to take it, step it up to the ultimate level of luxury and style. Among other features, the grand suites have that fully stocked wet bar with cut crystal glassware. You'll have a butler looking after you throughout. Beautifully appointed marble washroom with brass fixtures. And throughout the journey, you're being treated to cordon bleu cuisine. The Orient Express really is known and celebrated as a Michelin restaurant on wheels. You have 5 included meals between London and Venice throughout that day-and-a-half journey, each one more spectacular than the last. When you reach your destination in Venice, you have 3 nights there to take in the attractions of the city, explore the city. At Railbookers, we pride ourselves on providing through our itineraries a perfect balance of independence and included sightseeing. So you'll have time to soak up the atmosphere, but you'll also have your included walking tour with admission to the Doge's Palace and the Golden Basilica. You also have an included gondola ride in Venice. From Venice, you head north up by train to Tirano, and there you'll board the Bernina Express, which we mentioned that magnificent journey. It takes 4 hours traveling from Tirano up to St. Moritz through the most magnificent stretches of the Alps, making this one of the world's great sightseeing trains. In fact, a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 2008 is the Bernina Express. And in St. Moritz, you'll board the sister train to the Bernina, the Glacier Express, which is going to take you across the Alps again over viaducts and bridges and through tunnels, really giving you an outlook on some of the world's most spectacular scenery. Again, on board, you can upgrade to Excellence Class, where you have those huge leather upholstered seats, each with its own massive window, and the opportunity to enjoy spectacular cuisine included if you're in Excellence. And if you're traveling in Standard Class, you can purchase meals on board at an additional charge. The end of the Glacier Express, again, you're arriving in Zermatt, beautiful Swiss village in the shadow of the Matterhorn, a car-free destination, bit of trivia there. And you'll have that excursion up to the top of the Gornergrat to see those beautiful views of the Matterhorn en route and at the summit. The next of the iconic journeys is Paris and the Normandy beaches, a great opportunity to explore Normandy from Paris. If you're going to be in Europe doing a tour or in any other kind of travel experience ending in Paris, this is a great opportunity. 4 days, 4 nights, 5 days to go out from Paris and explore the Normandy beaches. You'll have those 2 nights in Paris with your hotel accommodation and admission to the Louvre to check out the masterworks, summit access to the Eiffel Tower with skip the line pass, so you don't have to endure those long snaking lines that you always find in the summertime at the Eiffel Tower. And then you're hopping on the train, the fantastic high-speed TGV train out of Paris, taking you up to Bayeux in Normandy. 2 nights in Bayeux will give you a chance to explore the Normandy beaches and see those places of historic military interest, particularly from a US perspective, and also to see the Bayeux Tapestry, which is absolutely unique. This is a 70-meter long tapestry created in the 11th century, which tells the story of the conquest of England by William, Duke of Normandy. We can also arrange for you day excursions to other attractions in the surrounding countryside, for example, from Bayeux out to Mont Saint-Michel to see the magnificent island monastery there. The last of our itineraries are unique, iconic European itineraries that I want to tell you about today is Grand, Rome, Florence, and Venice. Exploring Italy by train is such a great way to get access to all of the highlights. The Trenitalia rail network consists of these high-speed trains that connect destinations that are situated quite far apart so quickly, conveniently, and easily. It's 2 hours between Rome and Florence, another 2 between Florence and Venice. And with rail travel, you know, the station is in the center of the city. We will book you into hotels located near to the train station. So, you know, nothing could be more sort of relaxing and convenient. As soon as you arrive in the destination, you're right there. You drop your things at the hotel and you can hit the ground running, exploring the places of interest and the main attractions. You can also upgrade your hotels in every destination along the route. In Rome, when you look on our website, you'll see 12 different hotels that that you have to choose from, ranging from 3-star to 5-star. If you really want to go all out, opt for the Anantara Palazzo Nayardi Hotel, magnificent, historic 5-star luxury hotel right in the center of Rome. You'll have your sightseeing included in Rome, your skip the line access to the Vatican, museums and Sistine Chapel. In Florence, you'll have your included admission to the Uffizi and the Accademia to see the masterworks there, as well as sightseeing pass that you can use to explore the city, and lots of free time to stroll those ancient cobbled alleyways and get the atmosphere of the destination, exploring independently. In Venice, that's such an important aspect of any visit to Venice. going and getting lost on those cobbled alleyways, taking time to sit in a canal-side cafe, enjoying an Aperol Spritz. But in addition to that free time, we will include, again, your gondola ride and your walking tour, taking you to the Doge's Palace. So some wonderful opportunities to explore Europe independently by rail, be it in Switzerland, in Scotland, on the Orient Express, in Italy, or the Normandy beaches. Folks, we do webinars every week at Railbookers. Next week, we're looking at the top 5 rail vacations worldwide, so going a little bit further beyond Europe into Alaska, Canada, and other destinations. And the following week, we're talking about Rail 101, everything you need to know about traveling by train. So hopefully today's webinar has given you some ideas, some food for thought, and inspired you to start thinking about your next visit to Europe. Remember that great promotion we have. You can get $500 per booking towards an upgrade of your choice. So why not go for that Palazzo in Rome, or the Riviera Palace in Lausanne, upgrading your hotel to a luxury 5-star resort that you've always dreamed of staying at, using that $500 that we're contributing through the Pick Your Perk promotion currently on. Folks, that brings me to the end of today's webinar. Hopefully you found this to be informative and useful, and I'm happy to address any questions you may have. So if you do have questions, please go ahead and just open up your question box in the GoToWebinar dashboard and type those in. Got a question here from Janet, who is asking, do you folks just do vacation packages, or can we just book rail trips through you as well? Janet, that's a great question. All the journeys that we've looked at today are vacation packages. We at Railbookers really, in essence, are a tour operator specializing in rail transportation. However, if what you're looking for from us is primarily the rail segments between destination cities, we can do that. However, we have one requirement to define your booking as a package, and that is that you book one hotel night through us. So as long as there's one hotel night, even if it's an airport hotel, we can go ahead and do that rail booking for you with 7 different segments going through different countries, as long as you meet that minimum requirement of the one hotel night. Okay. Question from Mary here, who's asking, are the dining cars open on the trains currently? That's a great question too. And the answer is it depends, and it varies from one rail operator to another. Most of the journeys that we looked at today, aside from the 2 luxury trains, the Royal Scotsman and the Orient Express, are not overnight trains. The Trenitalia train between Rome, Florence, and Venice, the TGV going from Paris out to Normandy, those are not overnight trains, so you wouldn't find dining cars on those trains. There would be a cafe car where you can purchase snacks on board, but it's not, a dining car as you think of with overnight rail travel, where everybody sits at a table as in a restaurant. So on those trains, the question of whether dining cars open is moot. The cafe cars may or may not be open depending on what the restrictions are at the time of travel related to COVID. When it comes to overnight trains, the various companies around the world have made different decisions on that. Amtrak is just now opening up their dining cars for the overnight superliner trains that travel westward from Chicago, the Empire Builder, California Zephyr, and so on. They've not had their dining cars open throughout COVID, and meals have been served in the privacy of your roomette or your bedroom on board. However, things are now starting to open up. The dining cars will be open with limited seating for social distancing for COVID reasons. Similar situation with Via Rail here in Canada. So hopefully that answers the question. It is a little bit complex and differs from place to place and rail operator to rail operator. Folks, those appear to be all the questions that have come in this afternoon. So thank you so much. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for taking the time to learn a little bit more about rail travel. Hope to see you on a trip or a future webinar. Wherever your travels may take you, bon voyage. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.